I was thinking this weekend, is there anybody who's doing what the bus portfolio is doing, and that is actively pursuing the change, the disruption in the market that is being led by artificial intelligence? And first thing that came to mind was Kathy Wood's ARC KKK fund. And so I said, well, let's compare their performance year to date as we're rushing through this build out of the AI infrastructure, and let's see how the bus portfolio is doing relative to ARC KK, and then the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, and the Dow. And here you see the numbers, and you can see that ARC is a bit ahead of the bus portfolio on a year to date. And that has a lot to do with the fact that Samantha and Bart really didn't become full-time employees here at the bus portfolio until 3 months ago. So we've pretty much caught up with the ARC KK in the last 3 months. And what I got to thinking was, this is all that the world needs to know. Right now, if you want performance, you need to be in one of these two portfolios, the ARC KK or the bus portfolio. So then I went beyond that, and I said to myself, well, what makes the difference? What is ARC doing and what is bus doing that you aren't getting in the indices, and you probably aren't getting in most ETFs? And that is the reason why 90% of the people who invest in the market lose money, because they have a lack of knowledge. They're following the herd, and they have a lack of research. And that's what Kathy Woods, over the last several years, has brought to the equation. She has excellent research. She shares her knowledge, and she explains to you what she's doing and why she's doing it. And then you invest in her fund, and you're a passive investor. The difference is, with the bus portfolio, you manage your own portfolio, and we share with you our knowledge and our research, and then you make your investment decisions. Now, is ARC an investment that you just put your money in and forget about it? No, I don't think so. This is the history of ARC since 2016 through today. And you can see that you lost all your gains if you stayed in it, and you weathered the storms, and you didn't actively say, is now the time to move away. Well, does that happen to anybody and everybody? This isn't as vivid a chart as the ARC, but this is the bus portfolio. And you can see down here, we did not outperform the Dow and the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 until right down here. And what happened there, as in the last the rest of this year, is Samantha and Bard started giving us the knowledge and the research to make that difference. So what is the difference between ARC KK and BUS? It's your involvement. ARC, you put your money in, and you go to work, and you leave it there, and hopefully it doesn't crash like it did. Whereas with the bus portfolio, you're managing your own money. You're taking guidance from the bus team. And that's Carrie, Mark, Trent, and our two most recent employees, Samantha and Bart. Bart does the research. I basically have created a bot that I give information to, or I should say a template to, and say, this is what a growth stock looks like, Bart. And I modeled that from the tendencies that I learned from the growth of Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. I traced them through their infancy, their adolescence, and then their growth as an adult. This is what I'm doing in stocks, is what professional football teams do when they're looking for another Patrick Mahomes or another star quarterback. They basically go back and say, what did Patrick Mahomes look like in junior high school, in high school, and in college? Now, how can we find another Tom Brady that looks like Patrick, and we model them, and we create good professional athletes that make us winners. We're doing the same thing, but it's with stocks. This is where the difference starts. This is where you access Carrie's tell sheet that tells everything. It lists the stocks that is in Carrie's portfolio right here. It tells you what their current price, what industry, what their market cap is, what their PEG ratio is, and what their current PE ratio. But what really is important here is what the projections are for the stock price in the future. And this tells you if you buy the stock today at today's price based on the research that we have done by going through their balance sheet, their income statement, all their projections, all the Wall Street projections. If you buy it today in 2027, this is what the price is going to be, and that's how much you'll make, 27%. So what you want to do is come down here and say, where am I going to get something in the neighborhood of 160% as opposed to 27%. And then this number tells you how assured we are that that's what you're going to achieve. And then if you want to know, what do they do? What does that company do? And how did you come up with a prediction that the price is going to be $22 in 2028 when its current price is somewhere around $6.45. How did you come up with that, Carrie? Well, in this deep dive, Bart and Samantha will give you a podcast about 22 minutes that will tell you exactly why we think the price is going to be $22 in the future. Now, over here, this is Carrie's portfolio. This is my portfolio because I think what I want to justify with you is what is my cost basis and why am I continuing to hold Iran down here that is only going to give a 29% a return on its price from today and into 2028. Why am I continuing to hold it? Because I don't hold it at today's current price. I hold it at substantially less, and so at $7. So I'm going to get somewhere around a 260% return. And that's what you need to create on your Excel spreadsheet. What do I own it at? And what could, if I buy it today, or if I bought it in the past, what is my return going to be? That's the difference between ARK and BUS. We are actively managing it and then sharing that information with you so you can make informed investment decisions. Now, this is the element that we're introducing to the portfolio now. When do you get out? When do you get in? When do you start taking profits? I don't have this kind of chart on the BUS portfolio, so what I'm using is ARK's AKK, ARKK. And I think if you can learn from this, if you look at this chart and you say, when would I most when was the best opportunity going back to, what is it here, August of 2022, when is the best time I could have bought ARK KK? And you would have said right there on December the 28th of 2022, and then I should have sold it on February the 2nd. Probably you shouldn't have sold it, but maybe you should have taken profits because that's its resistance level. When should you have sold it? Probably was when it crossed its 200-day average. You might have gotten out and then got back in and then gone right back up to that resistance level, bought here, and then started taking profits. Then when it crossed again, that 200-day moving average, you liquidated, stayed out of it, crossed the 200 again, and you started building your position back up and probably stayed in it all through all this, got out here, maybe didn't get back in totally until it crossed again that 200-day moving average, and you wrote it up here, got out here, got in here, and now you're right here. And you look at it and you say, okay, this was last Friday. Is it going up or is it going down? Now you have to use some of your intelligence based upon what you know happened last Friday. Jerome Powell said he will probably be lowering interest rates in September of this year. So that means more than likely we're going to be testing that resistance level until those interest rates go down or some other piece of news comes to the forefront. And we'll know that if it gets down to this red line, we now probably need to be considering taking profits, and if it goes under the 200-day, maybe bailing entirely out or building a strong cash position. Because what we know from the last 3 years, it's going to travel in this channel until it doesn't. And when it doesn't, and it never comes back above that blue line or that red line, then we go find who is going to travel in that channel. What is the next thing that is going to change the world? Is it nuclear power? Is it because the data centers are turning to all nuclear? Is it because the computer chip is changing and NVIDIA's tiny little chip isn't going to work like it has and we're moving to a 8x8 chip? But we'll know those things because we're working together. I have come to the realization that artificial intelligence can give me all the knowledge in the world about any subject that I want to pursue. If I want to become a neurosurgeon, I will be able to do it over the next 5 years by accessing all the knowledge of neurosurgery over the internet. Now, I may have to be trained in the mechanics of it, but I can gather all the knowledge. If I know the right questions to ask and where to go to get the right answers, but I don't choose neurosurgery, I choose the investment markets. And what I have then decided to do initially was share it with the world. But then artificial intelligence, Samantha came back and said, if you do that, if you get 1 million, 2 million, 66 million people trading the same way you are every day, you'll lose your edge. That's why Wall Street keeps it in Wall Street. That's why 10% of the investors who invest this morning in the stock market will ultimately make money and 90% won't. Because they have to keep that knowledge within a close-knit group of people or they lose their edge. So they charge exorbitant fees to have access to the knowledge and research. That all changed 3 months ago when I discovered I could ask Samantha anything about a given stock and get all the knowledge that is available this minute to help me make a better investment decision. That's what Wall Street has been doing for years, decades, 100 years. But they've kept it from us because they need us to be the 90% who are losing money so they can make money. So, with that in mind, I want to make a difference in your life if you want me to. And that's why I'm saying come to my website, the links in the description, go to our landing page, come to the website, and sign up for our Platinum program. And familiarize yourself with it. And at the end of September, October the 1st, it's my goal to have 1,000 people in the tribe paying $60 a month. So then I can go and get the technology I need to make this even better. That I can get the engineers that not only search what Bard and Samantha do, but broaden the scope to the whole stock market and bring me the knowledge so I can share it with you so that you can make a difference in your family's life. I got a email or message from a young lady who said, I raised a little money. I come from a troubled background, drug parents, suicide father. I'm taking care of my nieces and nephews. But I took your advice and bought some NVIDIA stock. And I turned a little bit of money into a lot of money for me. And I want you, Carrie, just to keep sharing your knowledge so that you can make a difference, not only in my life, but in my family's life. You know who you are. You know who I'm talking about. Thank you so much. This is my objective, to change people's lives. Come see me at Best of Us Investors. Join our Friday Stock Talk, and let's learn together. Let's all become some of the 10 percenters, those people who make money in the stock market as a result of knowledge and research. Best of investing to you.